I literally was not living my normal life. That is what made me realize that this is what I wanted to do for a living. They will support you even if they don't have the same goal. Let's go into some fun ones. We've been like so deep. Hi guys, and welcome back to another day of Vlogmas. We have a fun day today because, or a fun morning, I suppose. So I'm taking a little break from one of my vlogs. You guys will also see this in a vlog, but we're gonna do a Q&A today. So I asked you guys on my Instagram some health and fitness questions that you guys had for me because I figured that would be a really good way to kick off the new year and kind of get to know me a little bit better. I know you guys know me pretty freaking well because you guys see my everyday life, but I got some Starbucks. I got a venti Americano, 2 stevia, and a little bit of oat milk so that I could sip on that while we chat. I basically like doing my phone calls, my FaceTimes. Honestly, my car is my safe space. So I figured this would be a perfect spot to do a Q&A, am I right? So let's get right into it. And I am a health and fitness coach. I'm a fitness coach, an online fitness coach, and I also have been doing it I started personal training in it's been like 4.5 years, I think, since I started personal training. So I figured that's probably why I get a lot of health and fitness questions when I do Q&As. And so this time we're just doing a health and fitness Q&A. We're just making that the theme. So I wanted to start out with the more general ones. Like someone said, like, how did I get started with personal training and coaching? So basically, if you have been here for a while, you've probably heard some stories about how I got my fitness journey started in general. So I guess we'll start there. When I graduated from high school and I stopped playing soccer, I lost all structure in my life. I moved out of my house, and like most freshmen do, and it is literally like a whirlwind. You don't know how to do anything for yourself if you grew up anything like me. My parents were really good about making sure that my meals were sustainable, or like they had substance. So I had like a carb, fat, and a protein and everything. But like when I graduated, I was like, do I even know how to build meals? Like I feel like I just snack and I eat things that are like carbs and fats, but I probably had, looking back, I probably had like 30 grams of protein, quite frankly, a day. And so let me see if this is too hot. Too hot, so okay. So anyways, I graduated, went to college, and went to Western Michigan my freshman year. So that was only like 10 minutes from my hometown. Literally my whole life was in shambles, to be honest with you. I didn't know how to take care of myself, in a sense of like, I became so anxious, so depressed. I was a waitress, so I had no sleep schedule. I was a waitress sometimes closing at 4 a.m. and then I'd go to an 8 a.m. in the morning. I think my first class is at 8 a.m. And I just felt like crap all the time. My workouts were like this. I really didn't know what I was doing with workouts. I grew up playing soccer where we would go and do like lifts and stuff, but like on my own, I didn't really ever know what I was doing that much. So I would go on the treadmill, I would do some abs, but like really I wouldn't stick to it. I would do like twice a week, sometimes once a week. Like it just was not consistent at all whatsoever. And I gained some weight when I was a freshman. I was also like newly on birth control, and I think that contributed to my depression, anxiety, weight gain, changes of hormones for sure, because everyone's body is so different. And I just needed some structure. And so when I actually decided to transfer to University of Alabama, move across the country, I ended up deciding I needed a personal trainer. And so he was probably the biggest pivotal moment the most pivotal moment in my fitness journey, and honestly leading into my career. His name's Justin. He was literally the best personal trainer ever. I was like 19. I was 19 when I started with him, and he made me realize I loved fitness. I loved learning about how to eat, and he literally helped me learn everything, and he made sure I was at the gym. Like I would be like, I don't know, I've got this going on, and he's like, all right, we'll switch to this time. Like he was not taking no for an answer. He was holding me to it. And if I would give you one piece of advice, obviously I'm an online fitness coach, but like, and I've been a personal trainer in person, I'm not biased in the sense of before then, I would have still said the best thing that you can do for yourself if you don't know what you're doing in your health and fitness journey is to get a personal trainer. So that is what made me realize that this is what I wanted to do for a living. gosh, thank goodness I made that decision way back when. And I started personal training at such a young age. I think it was the end of my sophomore year of college that I started personal training. So very young, I got my certification, and then I started at Crunch Fitness, and then I also was doing spin classes, and I was doing group fitness classes while personal training. So that was pretty much what led me into that, and I absolutely loved it. I still love doing it. It's still what I do for a living, and I did it all throughout college pretty much. Okay, now we're gonna talk more about staying on track and nutrition and all the things. So lots of similar questions, so sometimes I like merge a couple questions into one another. So this one is, how do you eat relatively the same meals every day? Do you get sick of things? And so let's chat about nutrition a little bit. I personally will not really get sick of things because I switch things up throughout the week. So I like the same pre-workout snack, which is rice cake, nut butter, and fruit. It is light on my stomach. It makes me feel good for my workout, and that I just don't feel like I need to switch. But for a long time, it was oatmeal, and it was protein oatmeal, and for a while it was protein coffee, and I do like a protein shake and coffee, and so I've switched it up over the years. But I think if you find something that works well for you when you're about to go work out, I would stick to that, because you don't want something too heavy on your stomach, but you also don't want to be too hungry before your workout. So that's just my 2 cents on that. And then when it comes to my grocery shopping and like my meals throughout the day for lunches and dinners, I would say that I choose like 3 proteins for the week. So this week I did cod, tuna, and ground turkey. So basically what I'll do is I'll make different meals out of that. So for ground turkey, I could do the sweet potato nachos, which I actually did last night for dinner, and you could do tacos, and you could do a bowl, and you could do a quesadilla if you wanted to. You know, you can make ground turkey into so many different things. And then for cod and tuna, I normally make those into bowls. So you could make it into more of like a sushi bowl with tuna, and add cucumbers and carrots and coconut aminos and rice. You could do that kind of a deal, avocado. And then you also could do a bowl with like sweet potatoes and Brussels sprouts. So I change up my sides, quinoa. So I change up my sides in those so that I can make different meals with the same type of protein, so that I'm not grocery shopping for like one specific meal. I personally think that like making a bowl and changing the sides is like the easiest way to go about things, because you can make them taste very different, but they're very simple and also easy to like throw in a bowl and take on the go if you are like going to an office or something and just need to heat it up. So there's that. I don't really get sick of it, but I have been starting to like try some different recipes. I think that Pinterest is a really good spot to start, and also like TikTok always has really good recipes. So favorite snacks, I personally, popcorn, rice cakes with nut butter, hummus and pretzel thins is my absolute obsession. I like chopsticks if you need something on the go for protein, and I like to do protein smoothies or like acai bowls and add fruit and granola. I also like Siggy's yogurt, which I personally am dairy free, so Siggy's yogurt with granola and fruit, that's a good one. Okay, next one, how do you stay on track while traveling or get back on track after traveling? So that was 2 separate questions, but we're gonna do it in one. So when I'm on a trip, like I just got back from LA. When I was on my LA trip, I didn't track macros. I typically will track macros. When I was in LA, I was like, I'm just gonna enjoy myself. I don't go crazy. I still am like very aware of like needing protein and like making sure I'm drinking my water and like making sure that I'm walking and getting workouts in, because I feel better that way. But 1 week of being out of town, or even like a few days of being out of town, it's not gonna break your like routine, as long as you get back on track the second you're back. So get back right into your routine that you had right before if you felt good in that routine, because if you get back and you're like, oh, I'm gonna wait until next Monday to get back on track, it's gonna be way harder. So I would say like try and stay on a routine even when you're traveling. It might not be perfect, and you don't have to be crazy about your meals. Like enjoy meals in different locations, and you know, enjoy yourself, rest a little bit more. But I do recommend like getting some movement in, because we all feel better after a workout. Like you cannot tell me that after getting a workout in on vacation, you're like, dang, why did I do that? Like, you're always gonna be like, wow, I can enjoy my day way more because I just exerted all this energy, and now I feel like I'm not stressed, and I feel like I'm able to, you know, eat foods and nourish my body and feel good. I feel very lethargic if I do not exercise or eat right, so I think that that's what motivates me while I'm traveling. And then when I get back from traveling, I'm like, all right, it's go time. Like, normally when I'm traveling, I get so excited to get back into my routine because I know how good I feel on my routine. So normally on like the plane ride home or the drive home, I'm like calculating my brain, okay, how can I get right back on track? What are some things I want to focus on? What are my non-negotiables when I get back? And let's get after it. I also recommend making a grocery list the second you get home or even on your way home from traveling, because if you plan your meals out ahead of time, it makes getting back on track way easier rather than being like, oh, I have no groceries, haven't even thought about that, I'm just gonna eat out, and the next thing you know it, you're like basically on vacation for another week. Coffee break. Still really hot. Okay. What are your goals for the new year? So if you've been here for a bit, I always say that because a lot of times this will be like a repeat answer when I talk about my surgery. So if you knew that I had abdominal surgery recently, a couple months ago, I had a very serious surgery that put me on my butt for a couple months, and it's been really like my goal for the past few months has just been, all right, we're just like gonna get back to normal life. Like, I went for a while where I had to sleep sitting straight up. I couldn't do any activity. I could barely even walk for quite some time. Basically had a full-time caregiver, like God bless my mom and Jason coming together, and like between the two of them helped me so incredibly much, taking me to doctor's appointments, making sure that I can like, you know, not have to carry my trash bags. And like, I literally was not living my normal life. Like, I was down bad because I was recovering from this surgery that I needed. And thank goodness I healed so well, and I'm now able to change my goals. Like, my goals for the last couple months were like, let's just get back into exercising. Let's get back into feeling like myself, and I feel better than myself. I feel phenomenal compared to what I felt before my surgery. So that's amazing. And now for the new year, which was the question, I can really dig deep into my fitness goals. I talked about this before, and I still think that my goals are to really dial in on my nutrition, and I've been doing so much traveling, so that's made it a little bit difficult, honestly, to stay on track. But I don't have a ton of travel coming up, and I'm not a huge travel girly, so I think that it's really time that I can focus on my macros, focus on my nutrition, and start seeing some physique changes. I personally would love to lean out, and that's my own personal goal. It goes in waves. I was like at maintenance for so long, and I felt fine there, but I was like, I want to push this to a new goal and lean out and see how good I can feel in a cut before I go back into maintenance or into a growing phase. So honestly, I want to go into a cut for the new year, and that's one of my main goals. Also, my main goal is to grow my YouTube channel, my Instagram, and my TikTok with more fitness stuff. So I think that because of surgery, I wasn't able to show as much fitness stuff, but now I think that I'm going to, especially after Vlogmas, I want to really focus on like recording more workouts and showing more meals and recipes, and kind of just like going back more into like the fitness world when it comes to stuff. I love my lifestyle stuff, and I'm gonna keep that, but I also think that I don't show enough of like my workouts and whatnot. So that's a big goal. And also my goal is to let myself be okay with the fact that I'm a routine person. I think that I thought it was a problem that I was such a routine person, or that I am such a routine person. I was like, wow, I'm no fun. I hate traveling because I hate getting off my routine. But realistically, I think that's just who I am. I prefer to be in a routine. I prefer to be consistent. And I think that is actually a strong suit rather than a weakness. So I'm going to lean into that and be okay with the fact that I really don't like getting off my eating schedule, and I don't really like getting off my workouts. So minimal travel and kind of just like really dialing in on things is where I feel best. I don't love eating out that much, and so like once a week is plenty for me. So yeah, that's probably my new goal, is to like let myself be in this space and be okay with being a super routine person, and knowing that I feel really good when I'm like on a very strict schedule. And then also I want to really dial in on my nutrition and kind of just like see where that can take me. I've never really pushed myself to my limits, if that makes sense. I have always been very comfortable in my fitness journey. I've never been like, wow, this was a huge challenge. Like, I just have been really in maintenance. I've never like seen my body have crazy drastic changes except for over years time. Okay, I'm gonna start rattling off more rather than giving you 10-minute answers, and then we'll get through this. So I hope you guys are having fun, because I take 10 hours to answer one question. I love y'all. Intermission, coffee. Okay, let's do it. Are you tracking macros? Yes, I'm tracking macros. I personally do not think that it's an unhealthy thing for me. I think everyone's so different. I think that it helps me know how much protein I'm having, and that is something that I struggle with very much so. I could snack all day long and I would have not 1 gram of protein if I could choose. So I do track macros for the most part. How do you track macros in a social setting? I personally will take 1 meal a week that I don't track, and that is normally the meal that I will go out to eat with friends. I understand that it can always be different. If I have more than 1 meal out, I normally will choose something that's very simple when I go out to eat anyways. So a tuna bowl, or I will have salmon and I will say, can you cook that without butter? And I will get some like veggies at the side. So that's how I do that. And how do I become a morning person? Hatch alarm clock, best thing I've ever invested in. It makes me feel like I'm waking up to a sunrise alarm, and I think that it has literally made me into a morning person. I also think that everyone's super different in the sense of like, what is a morning person to you? Do you want to wake up in a good mood, or do you want to wake up at 5 a.m.? So like, I personally think that not everyone is like meant to wake up at 5 a.m. I think some people's body, like, you're just a night owl. So if being a morning person is 7 a.m. to you, like, that's okay. Like, wake up 30 minutes earlier than what you typically would, and that's still amazing. And then give yourself more time to get stuff done, like a workout in the morning. And I think that starting your day with a workout is like the best feeling in the world. So if you are able to do that, I would say give a morning a workout a shot, because I feel like it puts you in the best mood for the rest of the day. But obviously that means waking up earlier. I also think that setting up your day the day before, so making sure that you're like writing out a to-do list and knowing exactly what your next day is like, it makes waking up a lot easier. And making sure that your kitchen and your apartment home is clean, because waking up and feeling overwhelmed first thing in the morning surely is not gonna make you into a morning person. Do you weigh yourself? I personally will weigh myself a couple times a week just to like see where my body's at. I've had a very healthy relationship with a scale for quite some time. I had probably 2 years in there where I wouldn't weigh myself. I don't think that I judge my progress necessarily off of the scale, but I am in tune with like, I know which weight I feel the best at compared to like how I look. So if I look in the mirror, I'm like, okay, I feel like I'm feeling sluggish and I feel like I could definitely like lose a little body fat. I can step on a scale and like kind of like know where I'm at, because my scale does tell me body fat percentage. And like, I don't know how accurate it is, but if you stick with the same scale, it'll probably be, you know, a good representation of where your body fat is at. But I had a couple years in there where I was like weighing myself every single day, and I realized, okay, this is not for me. So I took like probably 1.5 years off from weighing myself, and I just judged myself based off of how I felt, and that works too. Okay, let's see. Hormones and periods. So this is something I think I've talked about a little bit more lately. I actually just got my period today for the first time in 1.5 years. Yeah. So this is probably something I'm gonna have to do a whole YouTube video on, because I can only imagine how many questions I'm gonna have on this. But I got off birth control, and I think that my hormones have been whack since. Yeah, and it is a very, very helpless feeling when you don't have a period for that long, and you go to all sorts of different doctors and you talk about them, or talk about all of the different options, and normally it results in them wanting to get back on birth control, and I'm like, I'm not doing that. So now that I have my period, I'm going to really lean into this. I'm still going to get another blood work panel done now that I've moved to Tampa. I did this in Alabama a lot and they gave me very few answers. They're like, blood work looks good. And I'm like, no, I want to know if there's anything wrong, anything even remotely off, because I want to be crazy in tune with my body. So I'm actually really glad that this morning, what is the coincidence there? I don't know, because this week I've been so stressed about it, and I actually talked about it in an earlier YouTube video saying like it feels so helpless not knowing your body. The fact that I got my period this morning was like God saying, okay, don't you worry, child, we're gonna be okay, and we are going to work things out, and we're gonna be in touch with our body. So I'm gonna see if my period is consistent over the months, every month, and hopefully that can help me really lean into like tracking my period, knowing my hormone levels, by going and getting a blood work panel done. And yeah, I really will keep you guys in the loop on that, because I think a lot of people struggle with that, with their hormones, especially after getting off birth control or being on birth control. Everyone, once again, everyone is so different with how birth control makes your body respond. I'm spilling my coffee literally everywhere. It's all over. That's really good. I'm sitting here messing with the lid and now it's all over my center console. Okay, we're back. Favorite Lululemon items. Let's go into some fun ones. We've been like so deep. Some fun ones. Favorite Lululemon items. Lululemon Align Short 6 inches. I love the Flow Y Bra forever and ever. And then I also just got a pair of Instill leggings the other day and I worked out in them yesterday. I love Instill leggings now. I need to get more colors. I only have one. And I also love Lululemon Align leggings. That was like 4 different items, but those are my favorite items. And then favorite sneakers, Hoka's probably are my favorite. I love my Hoka's. I also love New Balances for like streetwear type things, but for my workouts, I would say that I wear my Hoka's for cardio and upper body days. And obviously I have a million pairs of sneakers that I love, but then for lower body days, I recommend Nike Metcons. They are the best for lower body and they are flat sole shoes. So I am going to do legs today and I will be wearing my Nike Metcons. And I customized mine on Nike to be all white. I know a lot of people will ask that, like, how do you have all white ones? So I customized them on like the Nike customized app. I don't know. Okay, let's see. How do you stay on track with when you are in a relationship? This is a very frequent question because I feel like y'all must have some boyfriends or girlfriends that are nothing like you in the sense of routine, and that would be so difficult. Luckily, I met my boyfriend at 7 a.m. at a gym, so he was very clearly also on my routine. So we have very similar lifestyles, which is a blessing, and he holds me accountable so much. But I will say we have very different goals. So a lot of times he is able to eat a lot differently than I am. I say able, you know what I mean, for his goals, because he is a large, strong man and I am trying to do very different things than him. I'm not trying to put on huge amounts of muscle mass. I'm not trying to lift as heavy as I can in the gym. And so he can eat out a lot more than what I can. And I told him early on, I personally feel like crap when I eat out. They put a bunch of crap in your food. I personally just would rather eat at home. And he respects that so much. So if he eats out, a lot of times he'll bring it back. Like on a Sunday, he'll go get a pub sub every single Sunday. He'll bring it back and I'm making my food at home. And we'll sit there and eat together. Different meals, but we'll sit there and eat. And then we also just make different meals all the time. We don't hardly ever like make the same meal, and that works for us. I personally think that if you have different goals from your significant other, you just need to be very open with them and voice what your goals are. And if they love you and if they are a supportive significant other, they will support you even if they don't have the same goal. And I think that goes for waking up early. If you're like, okay, please hold me accountable because I want to wake up early and I want to go to the gym, your significant other should support you on that because they think that this is what you really want and this is how you will feel better in your body. And I think that's huge. That's a huge way to, a very easy way to see if your significant other is very supportive of you because it's not benefiting them. If they do have different goals, it's not benefiting them in the sense they're not changing their goals, but they're holding you to it because they know that that's what you're passionate about. I also think that it never hurts to be a little bit healthier. So if your significant other is not healthy and they don't like going on walks and they don't like working out, start asking them to do it with you. Everyone can benefit from going on a walk here and there. Jay told me before we started dating he'd never just go on a walk, so I have to assume that most men don't just go on walks by themselves, go on walks with their friends like girls do. Girls are hot girl walking 24/7. So for guys, you might just need to tell them what walking's all about. And now Jay loves going on walks with me. So maybe just push them to be just a little bit healthier, and it just doesn't hurt. And maybe you guys can make healthy recipes at home, or even just recipes at home, because I think they're ultimately going to be a little bit healthier because you know what's in your food. You know what I mean? I also think that you can, I don't know, you don't have to have the same goals as your significant other, but I think that you just need to be open and honest with them, and you need to voice what you want to achieve. And significant other, if you have a good boyfriend or a good girlfriend, they will 100% sit there and say, okay, if you think that you'll feel better when you're healthier and you're investing in yourself, then let's freaking do it. Yeah, I think that's everything right now. I think those are pretty much all of the main questions for health and fitness stuff. I am going to definitely start leaning more into creating more content that's based around like my goals and like sharing more about, I always am like weary to share about macros, and I'm weary to share about like what my fitness goals are, because I don't want you to think that you have to have the same fitness goals as me. I personally have different goals than what you have, and I don't want you to look at me and be like, well, if she's at this body type and she wants to be at this, I personally need to change my goals. I just want to share my life with you guys, and if that means like sharing more recipes and like talking more about the fact that like I personally like to track macros because I don't eat enough protein if I don't, and protein is so incredibly important, and I don't eat enough fiber if I don't track my macros. So yeah, I'm gonna share more about my fitness lifestyle with you guys, and I hope you guys enjoyed that little Q&A. I didn't want to make it like so long. I actually don't even know how long this was, but it was probably pretty long, because if there's one thing to know about me, it's that I can literally talk to a wall for 20 years. So, but cheers y'all, and I will talk to you guys in my next Vlogmas video. And this is part of like I'm currently vlogging a day in the life, so you guys will also see me in this exact same outfit, and you guys will know when I sat and chatted in my car with you guys, chatted your ear off. Anyways, I adore y'all. I need to do more Q&As so that I don't feel like I'm missing out on so many people's questions, but also don't need to make them 30 years long. I love y'all, and I'll talk to you guys later.